Hi, it is the end of May and I think it's time for a garden tour. I want to show everything that my garden has been growing, vegetables, all the herbs, the flowers, definitely some of the flowers, but I just know next month, I say this every month, I just know next month the garden will change again so much that I just want to make sure that I show and share what my May garden is looking like because it's, a very small, compact garden, but I'm able, luckily, to grow so much with a small space and a lot of containers and a lot of different methods. I grow in ground. This is my one in ground bed here. I grow in green stalks, raised beds, raised wooden beds, raised metal beds, and a couple of beds that were already, I guess, grandfathered to us that were already here on the property, and also containers, all types of plastic containers, terracotta, clay containers. So I just want to share all that is blooming and growing for this month. So let's get started. Okay, so let's start out here. Here is the front area to my greenhouse. I have one raised bed here. In 3 of these wooden raised beds that I somewhat planted them the same. I have either dwarf tomatoes on the side, also onions around the garden bed, and also an array of basil. This one is Tulsi Holy, something like that. Holy basil. But it smells so sweet. It smells like licorice. Then I have an array of peppers here. This one is Yellow Monster. I have some beans in the corners of some of these beds. These ones I believe are dragon tongue bean. Yeah. What is this pepper plant? Because I don't have any. Brown jalapeno. This one, the brown jalapeno variety, it definitely has a lot of flowers on them, but I've been noticing that they're looking more like shishitos, and I'm feeling like either I marked them wrong or I labeled them wrong from the start, or a bad packet, because this is the second plant that is looking like shishitos, but this is supposed to be a brown jalapeno. So that's bad on me. This one here, I'm really excited. It's a new variety for me. It is candy cane chocolate cherry, and it'll be a bell pepper. So I'm just waiting for these to get bigger. But on this plant, the leaves are variegated. So hopefully that's coming on camera good. And then this is a dwarf tomato plant. I believe these ones will be like almost like Romas, and it has a lot of fruit on there. I do plant in containers. I put containers everywhere I can. Here, my poor little cayenne long slim. This one has a good amount of flowers on, just it's producing pretty slowly on the actual peppers. I have a larkspur growing in here, and also some cucumber plants in the back. Here I have a baby butternut squash in the front, a climbing zucchini plant back here. Just gonna help it move. And over there I have Italian striped zucchini and also a golden zucchini. And in the containers I have about 3 or 4 of these, where I did plant them the same, where an eggplant is in the center, and then also planting a pepper and or 2 peppers like I did in this one. This one is New Mex lemon spice pepper, which I am excited for. I think it got a little burned, but I'm going to keep it on there. Here, an array of basil. This one is cinnamon basil. This is lime basil. And my banana peppers are already coming on pretty strongly. I might need to fertilize. Some of these leaves are not looking the best. In containers, you will notice that you do need to fertilize them more than you would with a larger bed, just because there's only so much nutrients a container can hold. But yeah, this leaf here is like pretty much donezo. I have 2 green stalks, and for the most part I plant the same things in each of them. This one's only 3 tiers, and I have dwarf tomato plants, basil. I do try to put marigold where I can. Different basil. This one is opal dark basil. I did rip out already I forgot what variety, but it was already having a lot of powdery mildew, and this year if the plant is bad, getting disease, I'm not about it. I'm just gonna, get rid of it. I already have started more seeds, so I have new tomato plants that I will be switching out or adding to the garden, but I'll be able to fill that pocket in with one of my new peppers that I have in the greenhouse, or another small dwarf variety for tomatoes. I do have some new pepper plants this year, which I'm very excited, like this one, White Inferno. Not showing any flowers on it yet, but it does look very healthy. So, and especially these really spicy plants, I've noticed that they do take their time producing, which totally fine. I'm just excited to grow something really, really spicy for my husband. And this one might need a little bit of fertilizer. This is a shishito plant. And yeah, this one is showing a nutrient deficiency just by the yellowing of the leaves. But I'm very happy for the most part how this one is looking. Here is our beautiful in-ground flower bed. I have an array of flowers that I have grown all throughout here. My blue salvia that I did a good job hacking back because I do want more growth. I have some sunflowers that are popping up, a mix of some zinnias, also larkspur, dahlias. These are to be container variety dahlias. They are getting quite large. I've already pinched them and cut them down, but they are getting very large. I have some Lisianthus here in the front. I do need to water. They get a lot of direct sun right here. I just direct sown some more zinnia linen variety. That one is a very pretty new variety from Johnny Seeds. Also, I direct sown double click snow puff cosmos and sugar and spice marigolds. So those will be quite large. My idea is that it will go and grow and somewhat through this wooden trellis. I had nasturtiums all throughout here, but with the direct sun hitting it, it was just, they were looking crisp and they were done though. This area is probably the area that I need to probably work on the next couple months, because even this poor tomato I would call this like more of my shade area garden. It's underneath a tree that we share with 2 of our neighbors, but it does provide a good amount of shade here. I have 1 tomato plant here. I believe this is the Belgian Giant. We've gotten really strong winds the last couple weeks and still getting some good amount of winds right now. So with that, a lot of my plants got damaged in those windstorms. So I've just been wanting to cut back so much, but at the same time, I can't let them be bald with no leaves. So I will need to clean this up. I have snapdragons still growing back here. A good amount of them have not bloomed, but I do need to put some sort of support system for them. I'm most likely will use the Hort Nova plastic netting and use that across, and then help them somewhat get the support by growing through each of the netting. So that I probably will have my husband help me with that tomorrow because he is off. In this one of my raised metal beds, I just have the one tomato plant in the middle here. I believe this one is, yeah, gold medal slicing tomato. This will be a new variety for us as well, but very excited. We're very big fans of the pineapple tomato, so hopefully that is somewhat, I believe, will have some of the same flavor palette as that one. Here is some, I want to say this one is pineapple sage. It's been getting eat up by some bugs. I need to figure out what bugs are eating this guy, but I'm really excited to see. I've heard that they have red flowers when they bloom, so I do want the sage to go to flower. Here are one of the many sunflowers that the birds have planted for me. I have throughout the garden an array of volunteer sunflowers. These ones here are probably the most, I would say, like the tallest ones that I have right now. Oh, aren't they so pretty? I wish I knew what variety they were. Because these ones were all planted by birds or the squirrels. I'm not too sure. But some of these have not bloomed yet, but just that one, and it is so pretty. It has to be, I don't know, maybe over 6 feet. But this guy, I think we measured it yesterday, me and my husband, and it was almost 9 feet. So, and it is a branching one. I thought it was the chocolate variety, but I don't know. It is variegated, if you can see. Not every leaf, but some of the leaves. They had more variegated leaves, but those got trashed from the wind. But it is so pretty. Hopefully, I'll have to have my husband take a picture of the blooms when they do open up top, because I don't think I'll be able to. Do use different forms to grow in. So here is one of my containers. I probably do not go anywhere near the size, the spacing requirements. In here I have one Cherry Falls bush tomato plant, a volunteer sunflower, which I don't know where it came from. I just have one marigold here. I forget what, this might be a liatris in the front here, and one sweet banana pepper here that is already providing some peppers. Not too many flowers on this one. I want to say this one got a lot of wind damage as well, and a good amount of flowers fell off of a few of my tomato plants and pepper plants. In this bed here, I have mostly just peppers. I do want to make space and put a dwarf tomato in the center here once I harden that one off. It's still in the greenhouse. But in here I have an eggplant. This is a jewel amethyst in the corner. Some mix of marigolds. Surprisingly, my sweet alyssum is still in here. Usually that one, sweet alyssum, is done by the heat. I have a jigsaw. Jigsaw pepper is super spicy, but my husband, that's like his favorite pepper plant, and I love the plant because it's variegated. Oh, it's so pretty. Have my shishitos. Shishito is probably my favorite because it's not spicy. I think they said like out of every 10 is spicy, but I have yet to get a spicy one. I have some mixed in here dill, basil, This is a ground cherry. I believe this one was a volunteer on the side yard, but then I plucked it and placed it in here. This is another jigsaw. Some chives that are really not doing much. I did just cut them back, so I'm hopeful they'll get bigger. And here I have another, this dwarf variety here is Metallica. This is a new one for me, so I'm hopeful I get some fruit. Right now there's no flowers on it yet. And these two pepper plants I have here are my Mulatto Isleno pepper. I believe it's more of like a poblano. So happy with those. They do have a lot of flowers on them. And here is where my main tomato arch is. This is a smaller one. I do have my indeterminate tomatoes on these arches. I will need to, I do a lot of trimming and pruning to my tomatoes. I know there's always, oh, that's probably, sorry about that. It's probably getting on someone's nerves. Oh, sorry. Okay. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, sorry about that. We got a good amount of rain, so these leaves, tomato plants, they just started bushing out fast. So I do need to come in here, help trellis this back up on this archway, but also trim back some of these leaves. I do trim back my tomato plants just because how densely compact I do plant everything, because I do want to try all the new tomatoes that I find that seem delicious to me that I want to try. So I do try and make the most out of my space that we have. But with that comes diseases, because when you are planting them so close, you're getting that disease contact. So I try to prune them back. And I know there's people, some other gardeners will say the more you prune, that's opening up wounds, and that can cause disease. And yes, absolutely. But for me, huge old bushy tomatoes shading out the next tomato plant is not helpful for me, at least. And how I garden is very compact, and I try to go with what Mother Nature does. We here in California do have more dry climate, so we will not be getting rain during the summertime, where that rain does help with that humidity and will cause disease, where here we are on the quite opposite end. We get a lot of drought, so we do not get the rain in the summer. Like, I don't think I've ever seen rain in the summer. Maybe if we'd have, it was a sprinkle, but yeah, it's that doesn't happen here. Once summer hits, it is summer here in 9B, California. But so I prune back. So this one here, I don't have too many on it yet, but this one is Mushroom Basket. Hopefully they have all that rippling on them. I am so excited. I'm hopeful that is my favorite this year, because I've been wanting to grow it for the last couple of years. Next to it is Kellogg's Breakfast. This guy has not really produced any some flowers, but I'm not seeing any fruit off the flowers yet. So I probably do need to come in and fertilize. I do try to fertilize my containers, and in this case, my wooden raised bed here, at least every couple weeks. I always amend first with the soil with a slow release fertilizer, but I do give a liquid fertilizer at least every couple weeks. And here are my honeycomb hybrid cherry tomatoes, and these are a new variety for us this year. So far, we do like this one. This one is a delicious variety. Next to it is probably our favorite so far, Champagne Bubbles. Hopefully that's focusing. And there's none There's none ripe right now, but we have tried ripe ones and we love it. I like that one a lot. And then an eggplant right in the center here. Surprisingly, I still have some rainbow Swiss chard in the corner. And of course, my cinnamon basil. I love cinnamon basil, but I also love when it flowers. I put these in flower bouquets. So pretty. Oh, I love them, but they're great for teas as well. And then, of course, some, try and true Genovese basil. Oh, is that a flower? And then, for the basil that you do use for cooking, always try to pinch off the flowers so then you can continuously get basil. Here is a new variety for us, is the Goldie Cherry Husk. That variety, we do love ground cherries. We tried them last year and were delicious. Here I do have a couple, but they're just not ripe. You do wait until they fall off the plant. But that one will be a new variety for us this year. Here are my indeterminate. I would say majority of these are new as well, except for one. I have 3 tomato plants here. On the left, I have Mortgage Lifter. She's she's producing flowers. The wind, I will say, probably did the damage to some of these plants. As you probably already know, or if you don't know, let me try to find one. A tomato has everything it needs to pollinate itself right here. This is the flower and it has the pollen. All it needs is a good tap, and that will help the flower to be pollinized, or is it fertilized itself, and then it will produce the tomato. Then it will produce that fruit. But in some cases, with the wind coming so strongly, it really did dry out some of these flowers. Like, these are crisp. These are already sorry for my dirty nails. As you can tell, it is almost dried up. That's not going to do anything. Already it's dried here and then barely hanging on. So I'm just going to rip that off. That's not going to produce anything. So a lot of these flowers just dried up and or fell off during the strong winds we have. And it's very early in the season, so I'm okay with it. For this one, oh, it looks like I have one little fruit in there, so happy with that. I do need to come in and help trellis this guy back over to the arch just for it can give support. I was surprised to see is this variety. This one is Cherokee Purple, and I'm shocked because last year I think I only gotten 3 Cherokee Purple variety tomatoes on this variety last year, and I wasn't going to grow it, but since it was such a great favorite tasting tomato for my husband and I, he really wanted it, so I put it back on the list to grow this year, and I'm very happy I did because I've already have more than what I had last year. I have more than the 3, so I'm very happy. I do need to come back in here and fertilize everything, but also cut back because there are some that have some wind damage, and those are all, again, just like open wounds that I do want to make sure that I cut back. Here is my little baby cucamelon. If you've not tried cucamelon, they're delicious. They are these tiny little melon looking cucumbers that taste sweet but lemony. They're delicious. They never made it inside the house because we would just eat them as they would grow, and they will take over a whole trellis, which I'm not mad about. They are delicious. I have some volunteer tomatoes back here. These are, I believe, Matt's Wild Cherry, and that's what I have right here. This is for us, a really good basic cherry tomato. They are pretty small, so if you are needing to keep them for storage or you want to eat them a couple days later, I wouldn't recommend this variety for that. They are definitely for fresh eating that day, or maybe the next at max, because they are so small. And when you do take them off, if you leave a little bit of the stem, they will last a little longer. But I noticed that whenever I was going to make a cold salad with them, I just came out, harvested what I needed, and then made the salad. This is all some flowers. I have Lizzie-anthus, then I have some different pro-cut sunflowers. Here, here is stuff that I have not harvested yet, but I would say Megatron this growing season already has produced jalapenos very fast for me, and I probably could take these off. Definitely this big guy. I will say the spicy profile isn't too spicy. It's just a regular jalapeno, but how prolific it is and how big they get, I highly recommend this variety, Megatron. I know Megatron, I believe that seed packet that I grew from was from Botanical Interest. So I know they have them, but I believe other seed companies do as well. But highly recommend if you're looking for a good staple jalapeno. I chopped one up and just added it to our chili, and I'm not a big spicy person, and it just gave the right amount. But again, everyone's spice profile is a little bit different. Here is another jalapeno variety, and this one is Greg's Grande. This one's he's a little slower to grow, but he's growing some. I think once I fertilize everybody, hopefully, and now that we're in consistent warm weather now, we were surprisingly getting some cold weather, nothing below 50, but cold rain for the month of May, and that is very surprising because, yeah, we usually don't get that cold in May. But I have these are sunset runner beans. No, sunset runner beans. I have not eaten these, and to be honest, I'm not too sure if they are edible. I will put on the screen if they are, but I just like the flowers. You know, I hope I hope I'm not the only one. Sometimes if the fruit is just beautiful or the flowers, I love to see like herbs go to flower because the flowers are just so beautiful. And yes, I'm sacrificing the herbs, but then the flowers are just, how can you not want the flowers? Here, I just love seeing the flowers. So I might just take all these off so then it can keep flowering for me. But I just love seeing also the beans on there. So I need to look that up. I did overpack this bed. As you can see, it is a wooden raised bed. And yes, I have three pepper plants. This is my little tiny jigsaw. That one got, I would say it got stunted, and I still didn't want to throw it out, and already it has grown, so I'm going to leave it here. It gets full sun. Right now it's a little bit in the afternoon, so the sun's going down, but it does get full sun here. As you can see, I need to water this poor guy. Oh yeah, he's dry. Poor thing. In these pots here, I have pepper plants. These two are brown jalapenos, and hopefully they come out to be brown jalapenos because the other ones look like shishitos. This is my poor, sad. This is a white hibiscus plant. I have not seen any blooms, whereas my purple hibiscus flower has bloomed already and is done. So I am thinking it's a nutrient deficiency, or this poor girl wants her own space and needs a bigger container. Here is a dwarf. This one is Franklin County dwarf tomato. Those ones were a favorite of mine last year. And back over to this garden bed. On each corner, I do have a dwarf tomato, limelight dwarf tomato here. I have some flowers. And on this side, I have, I believe this one is Dynamite Delight dwarf tomato. And this one does have a good amount of tomatoes on, which is a new variety for me. Some cinnamon basil in the back and regular, oh, actually, I have some flowers to pick off this basil. And I always just throw in the reason why I do love volunteer plants, and since most of my beds are fairly new, I like this bed here. This is a new bed that we put together this year. If there's flowers that they're right here, there's no seeds that have developed yet, but when they are seeds, I just throw them right back in the bed and hope for volunteers next year. But this variety of basil is I want to say a lettuce leaf basil, and it's doing really good this year. Last year, I kept on getting diseases on it, but this year, putting it in a more full sun location, and it's doing great. But I just have to keep making sure she's not going to flower. And then on this side, I have Tulsi Holy Basil. But very happy. A lantana in the front with some zinnias, and another Numex lemon spice pepper in that container. On this opposite side of the arch, I have 3 indeterminate tomato plants. This tomato plant will be removed soon because I made a video on it, but this is a super sweet 100 hybrid, and the girl is not super sweet. It's very tarty, but the trellises on them are beautiful. We, as in me and my husband, we've tried them. He just tried another one that was fully red and ripe, and it was still a no-go. It was very tarty. He said it tasted just like the gross tomatoes that you get at the store. So, and that's not what we're trying to grow here. So I'm going to replace it with an actual beefsteak tomato. I'm going to replace it with our favorite big slicing tomato last year was the pineapple, and I don't have it in my garden right now. That was silly of me because I just wanted to try all new varieties this year, but I just could not fathom of having summer come and go with not having a pineapple tomato, because they are really my favorite tomato. I could just eat that with some salt and pepper. It's so good. Or on a rice cracker with cream cheese and a tomato sliced on top of it with pineapple and the pepper and salt. So good. That's what I ate a lot last summer. It was just rice cake, cream cheese, a slice of the pineapple tomato with salt and pepper on top. It was so good. So good. So this girl, sorry, sweet 100, gotta go. But also in here, I have this. I want to say this is a Kentucky Wonder pole bean. I did not plant it, so it's definitely, it's doing great. It's doing better than it did last year, because last year it couldn't take off ever. So when I do remove this tomato plant, I will just make sure that I don't have any issues with cutting around this bean plant, because I do want this pole bean to keep going. As you can see, it's just grabbing on all the way up beautifully. This next one I have, this tomato plant, is the carbon tomato. We really liked Cherokee purple, and so I have heard that the carbon tomato is like almost the same thing. So I'm hopeful that this is a good one. Already it's showing to be more prolific than the Cherokee was to us last year, but I changed locations of where I planted the Cherokee purple this year, and it's already doing better than last year. So I do feel that location. If you really like a tomato, give it another try. If it didn't do the best one season, put it in another location, or give it different soil, or a little bit better soil. And who knows, maybe it will do better that next season. If in 2 seasons in a row and the tomato plant is just not working with you, there's so many other tomato plants like me. Like, I'm about to rip this Super Sweet 100 out probably tomorrow and replace it with one that I love. So, we do this all for the love of gardening, but also for the love of food, because we love it. We want to be able to provide food for our families, and especially fresh food from the garden. No reason to keep a plant that you do not like. And even if I didn't have another tomato plant, surprisingly, they're still at the store, overpriced at the store, at the big box stores. But, I could plant more pole beans and have this little section right up there, or allow this carbon to fully take over that side, which it probably could. But I do try to manage some of them because I want more variety. And this beautiful tomato one here is a new variety as well. This one is Pink Berkeley Tie-Dye. Super excited. My dad is God rest his soul, but he was a big Cal Berkeley fan, alumni, as you will say. And we would always go to the games, and big Cal Berkeley fans here. So in his honor, I did grow this one, the Pink Berkeley Tie-Dye, but also because it did look delicious and sound delicious. So, but this is, and I do have an array of basil. I have cinnamon basil, toasted holy basil, big lettuce basil in here. Dinosaur kale still going strong. I just cut some up the other day for dinner. This pepper plant is the banana pepper plant, and I would say this banana pepper plant, these are super prolific. We only needed maybe 1 or 2, but I pickled them last year and I loved them. So good. Next to it is my Cayenne Slim Long. This one is looking a lot better than my other plant, so I'm happy that I did put 2. And that's the problem that I have, is spacing, because I don't have a lot of space. As you can tell, I don't have a lot of in-ground space that I can just plant in. Under all this, it's just clay. That's all I got. I got clay. And yes, I could probably start digging holes and start amending the clay soil, but I don't know if my husband will allow that. And secondly, I do a lot with the containers that I have and try to make as much space. But with that, it is always probably, an issue, because if you have only one plant of a favorite tomato plant or pepper plant you have, and if something goes wrong with it, which I have had, and then that's the only plant you have. So it is always nice to have a second plant of the one, like in this case, I really want cayenne, to us to make cayenne pepper. We made it last year just off of one plant. We had the cayenne orange, and that was super prolific, and we were able to make cayenne powder and use that. We used it up fairly quickly, but we did have a good amount, and we were so happy to create our own spices. And so I'm happy because this is looking great, whereas my other cayenne is not looking great at all. So, but again, this one's in a bigger bed, the other one's in a smaller container. So, the ups and downs with growing in different ways in a garden, but nothing I can complain about, because I was able to grow a lot of fruit, a lot of vegetables last year, and hopefully my plan is this year I'll be able to grow a lot of vegetables and share with friends, family, and neighbors like we did last year. Here, oh, yay! I didn't even see these. These are already blushing. This might be almost ready to be picked. This one is the Stupiced tomato. Stupiced. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but this is a new variety for us this year. I'm going to say that a lot because a lot of these are, but this one was a semi-determinate tomato plant, and I do try to get semi-determinate or dwarf-sized tomatoes for my containers, because a dwarf is only going to get so tall of a for a tomato plant, and then the determinate or semi-determinate tomato plant will reach a certain I can't speak tonight. I'm just getting nervous about this wind right now because I'm just there's things I still need to tie down. But a determinate tomato will have a determined size that it will get to, and then as in an indeterminate tomato, they will grow until you not give them the space. So if you keep providing a space for an indeterminate and you still provide, the great weather, everything that it needs, like water, sun, nutrients, it will continue to grow. So I do try to limit myself and only grow indeterminate with where I have an arch or something, or a trellis that's tall enough, because you do want to provide those indeterminate tomatoes with a good amount of growth space. And in here, I also have a new variety of Peron tomato, and this one also is a semi-determinate tomato. This one has grown a good amount of fruit on it, just like the stew pies. But these ones, I did not see those blushing already, so I'm very excited. Also in here, I have a shishito plant that I thought was the brown jalapeno, but this one is a shishito plant in the front, which I'm very, very happy for, because my other 2 or 3 shishito plants that we have are not producing any fruit right now. So they are still a little small. And here in the front, this one is Greg's Grande jalapeno. So I did go heavy on the jalapeno. These do need to be watered. And containers do need to be watered more frequently. They do dry out, especially since we're getting a good amount of wind. And I do put Oyas in my containers, or some form of additional watering system, since I don't have irrigation to my containers. Here is Cherry Falls Bush. This one was the first tomato to produce and ripen for me, and it continues to produce. I think we might have this as a side salad tonight. I like making the very basic side salad of tomato is tomatoes, mozzarella pearl balls, and some drizzle of the thick balsamic glaze. Also some cut up fresh basil from the garden right on top. So that is probably going to be the side, because I think we are making burgers tonight. And here is, I have some, hopefully you can see, I have some red, I'm so happy, dwarf tomatoes. This one is Franklin County dwarf tomatoes, and here they are 2 plants. In the back here is Greg Grande's jalapeno, and it is producing. So a little bit slower than the Megatron jalapeno on growing the fruit. And they might be a little bit smaller. I'll wait to see how big these get, but again, it looks very prolific. And in the front, this is a Megatron, and he has a good amount of peppers on it. Here, right in front of our shed, I have Patio Choice yellow tomatoes. These are a lot bigger than I thought they were going to be. Well, let me tell you, I did not think when the name and the variety has patio, bush, those words to me make me think that they're going to be on a smaller size. I could have put this on a trellis, because I've already had to cut her down and she keeps growing. So, but we like this. Oh, I have a ripe one right there. This is going to be a yellow tomato, and it's very mild, really delicious. So if you don't like that acidy type tomato, the Patio Choice yellow bush that's your girl, because that one was really nice. My wooden tier, I have an array of herbs up top, thyme. These are onions, well, green onion tops, some more thyme here, marigolds. I have these aren't looking good. I direct sow green beans. This variety is Jade Bush beans, and poor thing, not looking the best. I don't know if that's bug damage or what. This is a dwarf Idaho gem tomato. Some more thyme. I put onions, and they are bulbing onions. I probably won't do that again in this type of container, just because the onions definitely need more space. But I am in the point of gardening where it's hard for me to give up a whole bed for one thing, like just onions, just because we fresh eat them. I don't have a big enough space to grow that many onions and preserve them for that amount of space where that's more precious to us. So fresh eating is perfectly fine. Hopefully one day I'll be able to have the scale size to grow more and preserve more. More dwarf size. I think that one's Emerald Flame. That one has not, just has some flowers, nothing, no fruit yet. Oh, a Tam jalapeno. I have a couple of these also in another bed. I really like the milder jalapeno. We grill those right up on the pan or on the grill when we barbecue, and I can eat those. They are very mild. So if you do like a little bit of that jalapeno taste and flavor, but without the heat or the strong heat, anything with it, the Tam jalapeno, mild jalapeno, those are your varieties. Here is, I believe this is Black Beauty eggplant. Here is another chocolate candy cane plant, which I am very excited. And this one, you can tell so much about on the variegation on those leaves. I think most gardeners are suckers for variegation, and I am, at least. I just find it so pretty. Nature. We just love nature. Here are small bulbing onions in the front of this bed, and here is another patio choice. So I have patio choice yellow in this garden bed growing up, and then I have one in this container next to it, and then an array of different basils, chives, herbs, dill throughout the container, and then also in this wooden tier. Here is a quick overview of the backyard. So I think I might just end this tour right here. I wanted to do the side yard and the carport where I have other containers and another green stalk, but I think I've been rambling on and took a little too long for the backyard. So I will definitely do a short part 2 garden tour for the side yard and where my other green stalk is, and where I have additional containers of vegetables growing in and flowers, especially the side yard, because I do have a good amount of cut flowers growing, but I do have a couple garden beds full of vegetables, tomatoes, peppers, herbs, onions, and those have been producing and growing very well. So I'm very happy so far for this growing season. It's been a little different with the weather, but some casualties with the wind. The wind really got us good, but I cannot complain. Mother Nature, she does a lot of wild things on us, but she does a lot of good for us. So very happy. So thank you so much for watching my whole garden in the back here. Very small backyard, but it produces a lot, and small space gardening can work. I don't always have a plan, so planning maybe will even do better maybe next year. I'll be so happy when things start growing bigger and even better than when I thought it would last year, when I thought last year was the biggest garden, And then now I feel very, very happy on how everything so far has been growing for us here. So thank you so much for joining me as I walk around my garden. Until the next video. Bye.